there and welcome back to Japan, where we're doing a reaction review to Band-Maid's latest album. We're going track by track through, starting with the very first song, Warning. This has literally just come out a few minutes ago. I was waiting for the time to switch over. As it went to midnight, I was straight on there, so it's time to jump in. Now, as always, this is the review video. If you want to see the reaction that I've just recorded when I first listened to this track, pause this, click the link in the description below. It'll open up a separate little YouTube player where you can watch the song along with me if you haven't heard it, or if you just want to see how my face reacted upon first hearing it. Now, don't say I didn't warn you, because I'm about to go into the review, so spoiler warning there, yeah? As I say, we're going to go through this track by track. We have previously, although the channel had to be reset after some instances earlier last year, we have listened to every single Band-Maid song ever, including all the B-sides and rarities on this channel. This has been a real journey from not knowing the band at all the way through to hearing all their songs just before Conqueror came out. Really enjoyed that. Seeing them live. Got the live DVD to match it all. Been doing so much of this, and we're working up towards doing a sort of top 25 Band-Maid songs. But we had to get this album in first of all. So I have been really looking forward to this, been really excited about hearing this. And like I say, there's a lot, I think that a lot of people wanted to resolve from this album, starting with the fact that obviously World Domination was really popular. A lot of people liked the rockier edge. But then you went towards Conqueror. Some found it overproduced. I admit that I loved the production, but I found that there was too much compression on it. There was a lot of interest in which direction they were going to go with this album, especially considering this has been signalled with a move to the rather legendary Pony Canyon record label in Japan. Now, I must admit, from a first track, you only really get an indication of where things are going to go, nothing more. I'm looking forward to a lot of experimentation on this album. I really want to hear that. They've got their rock credentials down. I want to see them do something more experimental. But I wasn't surprised to hear that the first track on the album was going to be a straight-out blistering rock one. Fair enough. Can't blame them. I think a lot of people, myself not included, but I think most people were a little bit cautious when the first track off of Conqueror was a bit more of a ballady sort of track. So they went straight in with a rock one. I love the fact that it had that sort of little few bars of sort of orchestral intro. That's a really sort of cool old hat trick, but it's always a great one. Give it a little bit of theatrics at the beginning of your album, but not too much, just enough to make it feel special, make it feel like an intro. And then it went blistering into what I think was a very simple riff. I mean, the riff was virtually a nothing riff, but it was one of those ones where it was tight enough to build up the energy. Like I say, too simple to be like a legendary one. It's not one of those ones where you're going to be sort of remembering the riff every night in your head, but it's one of those ones where when it comes in, it hits all the right sort of notes and the right tempo and the right energy to really get you sort of pumped up for the album. And that was backed up by, okay, there is quite a bit of compression on this, but just, in my opinion, the right amount. This is a sort of song where you want a bit of compression to make it sound really loud and headphone filling, but at the same time, it wasn't too much to kill the sound, and a lot of that was backed up by the fact there was some really nice mixing in this. I think that the mixing already sounds like it's a little bit better than it was on Conqueror. Conqueror, like I say, the mastering I wasn't a big fan of. Mixing I was okay with. It was the production I really liked, and it didn't really get to breathe because of those other elements not really being quite on par. But this one already sounds good, and this backs up what I said in that video when I was talking about them going over to Pony Canyon. I know we're only one track in, but this is a really good indication that they seem to have got the right people, really sort of people who know their stuff, to get in there and really get the most out of the sound. It sounds impactful, it sounds big, it sounds lively. Now, as for the songwriting really benefited from more of that use of backing vocals. They've been leaning a bit more into this, especially on Conqueror, and I like the fact that it's really predominant here, especially considering this song's got a bit of a punky vibe. As we all know, punk music, not that this is punk music, but it's leaning a little bit that way with the high speed, fast chord changes, fast beats. This has that sort of thing that like with punk music, a lot of the qualities of that come in little things, like adding little sounds here and there, including backing vocals, your whoa backing vocals. I think they call it like the millennial whoa, don't they? I can't remember. But I love the fact that it comes in straight from the verse when everything sort of goes double time for the verse. Those backing vocals come in, they give a nice cool answer between the lead vocal Psyche's doing and those backing vocals in the background. They even bring it back for the bridge where, like I say, it seems to be more predominant even than the solo, which is quite a brave choice considering how much a lot of die-hard Band-Maid fans go crazy if you don't include a solo. It's here, but it's a bit quieter. I thought it was a really nice choice. I think the mix here was definitely going more towards the impact than anything. It was going toward big, impressive. It was kind of like your show of power to start off the album, and I think it worked in that sense. Of course, like any good album starting track, it's not going to be the most catchy track on the album. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't lead necessarily with your very best song. Because, well, different songs are good at different things, but you shouldn't start with your big hit, because then kind of everything's downhill from there. I think, though, this does what a first song should do. It's a statement of intent. It's powerful. It's impactful. It's something that immediately gets your energy going. I think just over 4 minutes is maybe a little bit on the long side, but, you know, it's not. It doesn't outstay its welcome, and I think that's boosted by the fact that it's got a 2-phase bridge where it goes into the first where you get the sort of guitar solo. I don't even know if to call it guitar solo, because like I say, the solo's not put too high in the mix. And then the melodic part, you know, the sort of melody bit which leads into the last chorus. Maybe my only criticism, like I said at the time, is that I think that the bridge did such a good job of ramping up to the last chorus that when they did the almost it happens every time, it's not just them, it's kind of like a Japanese band stereotype. I like the technique, but a breakdown at the beginning of the last chorus, you don't have to do it every time, and I think this song didn't need it. They built up the energy, and I think they should have just piled into the last chorus and just blasted towards the end. So that breakdown at the beginning of the last chorus was probably the only thing that I wasn't 100% on. I was like, I'll probably grow on with time, but it just felt like a technique that wasn't really needed in this song, considering how high the energy already was. And they did a good job of sort of, you know, like with the changes of well, it's not tempo, but the changes of sort of half-time and double-time beats. It didn't really feel like they were struggling for variation. It's not like the song had become too samey and they needed to do something to break it up. So it was very dynamic throughout. And great work from McCartney, as always, on those parts. So for me, that was maybe the only criticism, but overall, this, like I say, great statement of intent, beautifully mixed and produced, really like those elements, really stands in there. So I think this really gets them off to a good first start on the album. Now, I'm not expecting them to show any masses of variation too early in the album. I think they're going to put in a few sort of really notable rock songs before we go any further, but I must admit that in my eyes, this is a really good start. I think it sort of points them in the correct direction, and the next song is called No God, which as a ardent atheist, I'm looking forward to. I bet it's not going to be like that, but anyway. So, as always, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Get in there, tell me your comments, tell me if you liked it or disliked it. Whatever you think, it's good to let me know. Music is only as good as the person who listens to its opinion says it is. I've just someone who's worked in music my entire adult life. Doesn't mean my opinion's any more relevant than yours. But please, just like me, try to justify your opinion so we can have a good conversation about it. As always, liking and subscribing is greatly appreciated. Remember, all the other social medias are linked in the description below. Big thank you to our Patreon followers. As always, you guys keep us alive. We're not monetized. Thank you. And thank you to yourself for making it through to the end of this video. So until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these, we're going to release one of these every day. For now, ciao ciao.